What's up, world? This is your girl P. So, how to know that you're being called? Now, as a disclaimer, I am not here to project my thoughts or opinions on you. I'm just sharing my vantage point. And for me, when you're being called, it's not really like you're hearing a voice, even though you are. It's not like you're hearing your name being called, even though you are. It's spiritual. You got to be into spirituality, not religion, because those are two separate things. And I think people get that confused. Like, religion is a way of learning spirituality. It's a school in which you choose to follow your spiritual path on. But spirituality, you can do that alone. So you can have a relationship with the higher powers that be without religion. And that's spirituality. You could be a spiritual person because you don't need anyone to help you with that. You know what I'm saying? So if the higher powers that be, whether it be God, Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, Ra, the divine, the most high, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Is calling you to move you forward in your life, calling you forward. For means going up. He's calling to raise you up in your life, to bring you to a higher level in your life. You're being called. And that's what it is. And it's certain things that'll play out in your life that, you know, that will awaken your spirit, which is your mind up to it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it'll be a toothache. Like, I literally, this is personal experience, so I'm not projecting. But I literally kept having toothaches over and over and over again. When I say agonizing toothaches, like it was having me saying, "Oh my God!" Like, because the pain, it's like it's bringing you to your knees, making you surrender type of energy. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even know you're being called, but it's like it's these things that start playing out in your life. These events will start playing out in your life. Your subconscious mind will start being awakened to things like where you wouldn't even paid attention to before. Like, you will start realizing that that's wrong. Let me not do that. It's like your spirit. This is why I have to tell people when they say I feel it in my spirit, they thinking it's in their body. Like, how can you feel it in your spirit when it's your spirit is your mind? You know what I'm saying? The mind is nothing. The mind starts off with no information whatsoever in it, and it gets programmed throughout our life. So that's where the spirit realm is where you think. You know what I'm saying? So when your subconscious mind is awake and all of these things that's going on in your mind, which you will start like and I'm not projecting. I'm telling you what I've experienced along the way, and I'm only one person and we're all different. You know what I'm saying? We all have different experiences. We all experience life differently. We all see it differently. We all have different vantage points. This is mine, okay? And so if I were to be doing something wrong, like my conscience, I always had a conscience. I always felt like, if I did something like, I always apologize for it. I've always been that type of person, like, I shouldn't have did that, whatever. But it's more amplified now. Like, I won't even do it. Like, because the last thing I want to do is because like, I don't feel like I'm a prideful person, but the last thing I want to do have to go back and keep apologizing to people for stuff that I'm doing. When I'm a whole grown adult, it's like, how about not doing it? And that conscious or your subconscious mind, I have you start seeing things like that. You know what I'm saying? To start waking your spirit up, waking your mind up. Remember, whenever I say your spirit, I'm talking about your mind. You know what I'm saying? It'll start waking your spirit up. Because you remember, in the Bible it said God is going to come back and raise the spirit from the dead. He's talking about raising your mind from the dead, from a slumber, from a sleep, from a comatose. Because we're sleeping spirits walking around unconscious, thinking we're one way and we're supposed to be another way. And it's not until your spirit get awakened that you will realize you'll be called to higher levels in your life. And people run from their own calling because they think that it's done in a religious aspect when it's not. It's being called to be your higher self. who you were meant to be, the greatest version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to bless you. It's like that story in the Bible with Lot, his wife, and his two daughters, and God called the whole family. He said, the city is about to burn down. Move forward. I got something for you. Come on. Don't look back. If you look back, you're going to turn into a pillar of salt. That is a figure of speech. It's not literal. That's how they talked back then. That's the type of verbiage they used back then. Just like people use capping now when they talk about lying. You know what I'm saying? Back then, that's how they used to talk. So he said, move forward in your life. When they wrote that story, they said, move forward in your life or you're going to turn into a pillar of salt, which means if you keep looking back at the past, you're going to get stuck there. His wife kept looking back at the past and she turned into a pillar of salt figuratively, but literally she got stuck in the past and got left behind while Lot and his two daughters kept it moving on to greatness. You know what I'm saying? And she stayed in hell, which was a literal sense, a figure of speech, excuse me, that the city was going to burn down and basically in hell. She stayed where she was comfortable at and because she couldn't let go of the past. So she, turned into a pillar of salt, figure of speech. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when your spirit get awakened to these verbiages and these hypotheticals and these metaphors and virtues and principles and all of these different things, it starts showing you that we are the creators of our own reality. Basically, we have a script and we have energy and a path that we follow, but all the things that the little details in the middle of it, we create this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of people that know about divination in the Bible and and talk about tarot and crystals and things of that nature. And I mean, I look at it like this. Look, everything on this earth was meant to be here. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about what's here, it's about how you use it. If you using tarot to try to dive into somebody's life to try to control them, then you are the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're talking about a person trying to exploring into the future, the weatherman does that on the Weather Channel by using energy in a barometer. So how is that not any different? It's all about us as the choice that we choose to do when we using things. And you can't judge another person and tell them that the higher powers that be didn't call them to do that. Or whatever the case is, you will know yourself as a whole grown adult if your spirit is awakened, if a person is being used by the devil or not, because you have discernment and we all do. Whether we use it or not, it's up to us. You know when a person is a bad person and when they're not. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody perfect around here. But when we look at the fact of us being called and called to greatness, it's a lot of times that we got to leave a lot of our old self behind. You know what I'm saying? So that we can become the greatest versions of ourselves because it was put in you for a reason and you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your heart. That's what your heart desires. And the creator always wants to give you what you want. You know what I'm saying? Whether you feel like you deserve it or not. The only way you're going to get it is if you feel like you deserve it. And I know that I deserve everything that I've been called to do. Now, I may have people that are being used by the devil to stick their foot out, and maybe because I'm giving information on the energy that I carry, so they feel like they can go read astrology or listen to astrology videos to try to manipulate. But all that person is doing is putting out negative energy and it's gonna come back to them. So sorry for them. You know what I'm saying? The energy can't be destroyed. So once you create it, you can't destroy it. So it's on its way back to you sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? I know that what I'm doing I have pure intentions in everything I do. When I share information about astrology, I'm not teaching it to people to get them to use it in a manipulative way. But that person is a whole grown adult. And if they choose to use that information in a manipulative way, then they have to pay the price for it. It doesn't have anything to do with me. You know what I'm saying? I know I was called to teach. I know I was called to lift people up, and I'm using it with pure intention. But when you know you're being called, because you'll get this feeling in you where you just feel like I have to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's a drive, and it's like you can't even sit still. It's like it's like you sitting on a couch and you got a pot of beans boiling in there, and you sat down, but it is not done yet, or that the water is not boiling out, but some in your spirit, which is your mind, won't let you sit there. You got to get up and go check the pot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it is. It's like I gotta get up and I gotta go do this. That's when you know you're being called. When you know that you gotta get up and go do something, you know that you want to be better in your life and you gotta go do it. Something in your spirit, something in your body won't let you rest until you do it. That's why I have this hunger and this passion in me. It's like I gotta do it. I was called to do it because this is in my spirit. My mind is telling me I gotta do this for my grandbabies. My mind is telling me I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? And I can't sit down until I finish. That's how you know you're being called, and that's my interpretation of it. That is my vantage point. And again, I'm not here to project. So if you're feeling antsy or whatever, if that's your spirit calling you to higher, to become higher than you are in your life or not. You could have anxiety. I don't know what the case is, but I'm just sharing this from my personal experience, and I hope that the message serves you well. And that's all I got for you. And I holla though. More love. Peace.